Welcome to DD History, where we explore the mysteries, dramas, and sometimes the downright weird stories of the past. Today, we're diving into one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries, the Lost Colony of Roanoke. Let's rewind the clock all the way back to the 1580s, when England and Spain were the big players fighting for power across the oceans. Queen Elizabeth? I wanted England to get a piece of that New World pie, just like Spain had been doing with its colonies. So she gave a man named Sir Walter Raleigh permission to set up an English colony in North America. Sounds simple enough, right? Just pack some ships, sail across the Atlantic, and boom, new colony. But of course, history never works out that neatly. Raleigh's first attempts in 1585 failed miserably. The colonists ran out of supplies, clashed with the local native tribes, and eventually abandoned the settlement. But Raleigh wasn't ready to give up. In 1587, he sent a second group of about 115 settlers, led by John White, to try again. This time on Roanoke Island, off the coast of what's now North Carolina. Unlike the first group, this wasn't just soldiers and adventurers. This time it was families, men, women, and children, coming to start a real English town in the New World. And for a moment, it looked promising. They even had a major milestone: the first English baby born in America, Virginia Dare, John White's granddaughter. Spirits were high. The dream of a permanent English colony seemed within reach. But dreams can crumble fast. Supplies ran low, and John White sailed back to England to get help. He promised to return quickly. But thanks to a little problem called the Spanish Armada, England was at war, and White couldn't get back for 3 years. When he finally did return in 1590, he found nothing. The colony was abandoned. No settlers, no houses, no signs of struggle or war. Just one mysterious clue carved into a post, the word CROATOAN. And that's where our mystery begins. Today we're diving into one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries, the Lost Colony of Roanoke. Imagine this. You set out on a dangerous ocean voyage, leaving behind your home forever. And when you finally reach the New World, you're supposed to be building the very first permanent English colony in America. Sounds exciting, right? But instead, your story ends in complete mystery. Let's rewind to the late 1500s. England was buzzing with ambition. Queen Elizabeth wanted her own empire to rival Spain, and a man named Sir Walter Raleigh got permission to plant a colony in the New World. His idea? Roanoke Island, off the coast of modern-day North Carolina. In 1587, a group of about 115 men, women, and children set sail across the Atlantic under Governor John White. Among them was White's daughter, Eleanor, who gave birth to Virginia Dare, the first English child born in the Americas. The colonists dreamed of building a new life, but instead, they stepped right into history's most puzzling vanishing act. Supplies ran low, tensions rose with some native groups, and White decided to sail back to England for more support. The plan was simple. He'd grab supplies, return quickly, and rescue the colony. But timing is everything. Spain launched the mighty Armada against England in 1588, and John White couldn't get back for 3 long years. When he finally returned in 1590, he expected to be greeted by settlers ready to cheer his arrival. Instead, silence. Roanoke was empty. No houses burning, no bodies, no signs of battle. Everyone was simply gone. But there was one chilling clue. Carved into a post was the word CROATOAN. On another tree, just 3 letters, CRO. And that's it. No note, no directions, just one single word. White thought this meant the colonists had moved to CROATOAN Island, now known as Hatteras Island, where the friendly Croatan tribe lived. But a storm blew in. His ship was damaged, and he never got to check. And so, the mystery of Roanoke was born. Now, historians and armchair detectives alike have obsessed over this for centuries. So, let's look at the most popular theories of what really happened. Theory 1. They moved to CROATOAN Island. This is the most straightforward idea. The settlers had friendly ties with the CROATOAN tribe. It makes sense that they would pack up and move there to survive. Archaeologists have found some English artifacts on Hatteras Island that could have belonged to them. This might be the closest thing to a real solution, but since John White never got to confirm, we'll never know for sure. Theory 2. They were attacked. Maybe the Spanish, who hated the English colonists, wiped them out. Or perhaps a hostile native tribe. But here's the catch. There was no sign of a fight, no burned houses, no weapons left behind, no remains. For a massacre, it was suspiciously clean. Theory 3. Starvation or disease. The New World wasn't exactly an all-you-can-eat buffet. Colonists faced brutal winters, poor harvests, and illness. They might have tried to relocate inland in desperation, splitting up into smaller groups. If that happened, the traces were lost to time. Theory 4. Assimilation. This one is fascinating. Later explorers claimed to see native groups with grey eyes, European-style clothing, or English words sprinkled in their language. Could the Roanoke colonists have been absorbed into local tribes? If true, the lost colony didn't vanish, it transformed. And finally, Theory 5, the supernatural. Okay, this one's less history and more spooky campfire story. Over the centuries, people have blamed witches, curses, and even monsters of the sea. Now, is it likely? No. But it does explain why Roanoke keeps showing up in novels, TV shows, and even horror series. When history leaves a blank page, our imagination goes wild. But before we go deeper into this mystery, let's make sure you don't vanish without a trace, like the colonists of Roanoke. If you're enjoying this journey through history, hit that like button and subscribe. A huge thank you to those of you who already do. It keeps the channel going strong. All right, now let's get back to the theories before the storm rolls in like it did for John White. So why does this mystery matter? After all, Roanoke failed. It didn't become the great English city Raleigh dreamed of. But in its failure, it taught England lessons. 17 years later, Jamestown was founded, and that one actually stuck. Without Roanoke's mistakes, Jamestown might not have survived either. The story of Roanoke also reminds us of the struggles of early colonists. It wasn't about flags and ceremonies. It was about hunger, fear, survival, and trying to carve a life out of the unknown. And most of all, the lost colony endures because humans love a good mystery. Every generation asks the same question: what happened to them? Maybe one day, archaeology will give us the answer. Or maybe it will remain one of America's oldest unsolved mysteries, right there alongside Bigfoot and UFOs. In the end, the lost colony of Roanoke is less about what we don't know and more about what it inspired. It sparked stories, curiosity, and a determination to keep exploring. And while the settlers themselves are lost to history, their story is not. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't disappear like the Lost Colony, and stick around. Our next video will explore Jamestown, the colony that finally succeeded where Roanoke failed.